Welcome back everyone to Splash Peak. Well, for those of you who've seen last episode where we built a natural flume ride, where I used a trick to basically create this natural appeal with the brand new raft mechanics, today we are building a river rapids and actually turn this thing into an actual series. But before we have to start with the outer shell of what is going to be Splash Peak, more about this project, and thank you so much guys that you voted basically for doing this. But before, a little note from the sponsor of the channel, which is Instant Gaming, and they have game keys or in-game currencies or currencies of different platforms, just like Xbox money, PlayStation money, you know, all that kind of stuff. And they have also customer support. It's all reliable and you get this all instantly via mail. If you need a code, you can also just search for DLCs, whatever you want, also pre-orders. It is pretty much a very good platform when you want to save a little money for games. I'm looking at you, Nintendo, in the future, but you know, there is a good platform and you can check the link here in the description as always. But now back to this project. Also, you may have noticed there is something else new of today's video, or in today's video. It is my first ever not HD video. It is actually WHQD, or however you want to call that, 2K basically. Yeah, I finally got a new monitor. I refused to get a new monitor for ages. I've been running a 60 Hertz normal 1080p monitor for ages. But they were pretty damn good. Like I've had some I still have them as second and third monitors though. But I've got some HP monitors with like a very high color accuracy and very good for the eyes. And they have been a charm to use for so many years. And to go for the same quality, it would have been a bit more expensive to upgrade. But now I got a very good MSI monitor, and I decided to not go to 4K. Because I wanted to go to a higher hertz at this time, which is a 240 hertz at this point, refresh rate, which is pretty awesome. And you know, it's an LCD, it's not an OLED, but whatever. You know, I know there is the kind of this discussion about the quality, but you know, I'm running fine with it. But I'm very happy to deliver this quality now to you. I will have to see how that works with rendering the videos and how much space it will take up on my hard drive. Gotta have to change a bit of my process, but it's all good. I hope you guys can enjoy it now. I mean, pretty much most phones nowadays have 2K resolution, and I thought it may be a good point to, you know, upgrade. Also, the game looks fine, but also the game doesn't only look fine because of my new monitor. It does look fine because sneakily Frontier seems to have integrated something into the newest update, that the game looks more crisp, the colors are a little bit toned down. It's not only me thinking like that. There's also on Reddit and in different forums the talks are going on. There's nothing in the changelog, but people have been comparison screenshots and so on that they are saying, hey, something is different and definitely for the better. Again, we can't really pinpoint what it is, but again, same goes for the water effects on the water rides, which essentially is the reason why I'm doing this video, guys, because finally I feel confident enough to build a good rapid rides, because I just couldn't do it before. It looked too shabby, I'm gonna be honest with you. But I love the fact Frontier seems to be improving things, and maybe it is actually exactly this. They are not ready completely with the change, so they are not announcing it properly, but maybe they have already integrated things that are ready. Now, as we're starting to build the river rapid layout, before I talk about that a little bit more in a second, because that will take the biggest part of the time lapse anyways, let's quickly talk about the outer shell of this building. Is it going to be an indoor park? I had this idea for a long time, and I won't spoil it too much if that was initially going to be a collaboration project, but because of how Planet Coaster 2 has started, mostly all collaborations that have been planned were cancelled for the better, and I'm not feeling any bad, you know, there's no bad feelings or so about it. It just was the right decision to not do anything. For those of you who may be asking, also Koali Beach 2.0 is not going to be a thing, at least, like, never say never, but also because of the way this game's performance overall is, the reception has been at the beginning, the game was at the beginning, we as a group didn't feel confident to create something with this game. And I think that was a very good call to not do it. But apparently, in different talks, and not only for Koali, but in general, the idea of an indoor park isn't the most fancy one. I guess a lot of people have already been doing this, and there are some very cool things in Germany as well. And it is something that is realistically doable, and I'm fairly certain that people will like the idea, and so I wanted to test that as well. And I remember my aquatic dome that was called this way in Planet Zoo, which is going to be the next supercut, by the way, for those of you who are interested in the supercuts, maybe this weekend too. I don't know if I get it done. The supercuts are always very problematic to render. I don't know what exactly is my issue, but like I've got a lot of fails when I render these super long videos. If there's anyone in the comments who has got an idea how to improve that in Premiere Pro, please let me know. I can't pinpoint what the issue is. I just need to do it a couple of times, and at some point it just does render it, but whatever. But back to the project, I wanted to create this huge indoor space, and in the past people, rightfully so, have criticized that my builds realistically wouldn't work when it comes to how the gravity would be involved in this whole building, or would the effect, so the stability wouldn't possibility work with this building. And so I wanted to do something more massive that realistically could be built this way in real life, giving this whole thing directly a feeling of strength and readiness to basically exist the way it does. I'm not going to do too much realism aspects in here. I just want to have fun and explore this kind of more alpine, but not like as we've done it with Splash Mountain, or not Splash Mountain. I just recall that from what it is, but like with the water parks from Disney that I've basically took as an inspiration for that series that we did. I wanted to go a bit more North American, kind of timber wood style, kind of, I don't know, it's also recently I had the idea to play The Long Dark again. Maybe it's also inspired by that little mood, I don't know. Just like sometimes I need to just let myself be carried forward by these feelings and these ideas. By the way, what I'm doing over here on screen is the worst idea you can ever have. Please don't do it if you don't want to have your game lag like crazy, but it's looking fantastic at the end of the day. And I went for the looks, but it's definitely not good for your performance, I tell you. So till today, the performance of this game for me has been nothing but a charm. It's been insanely good, no matter what I did with the game, but that seems to be still a thing that these Planet games just don't really like. If you use the same piece and you copy that a million times within a group, this is definitely something the game doesn't really love. I can understand though, but it's fine, but I reduced the FPS by literally 40% when I was doing this. So maybe if I'm going to release this later on as a blueprint or for you guys into the workshop, I may need to get rid of it anyways for the console players, but like technically I should also do it for everyone, because the performance on not so crazy high ends that I have may already be broken just by the usage of rock pieces over here. But it just looks so good and I just wanted to do it. But yeah, so before we talk even more about this river rapid layout, back to the dome. Again, it's been inspired by maybe the Berlin, Brandenburg kind of tropical island build a little bit, but also from others. And what I would also need to do is like a semi kind of shade opportunity. Like these things have also an option to, make it a little bit darker or brighter inside of it, depending on the weather and the time of day and season, I guess. But yeah, I didn't go that way because I used the platform trick for the rotation, as you've seen maybe earlier in the episode. And there is one issue with that, and this is definitely going to be something I have to look into if I can fix it actually or not. Because the problem is that, like, if you use this trick, you can't make any, let's say, off-center kind of correction. Like, the problem is, if you change one piece, apparently all the 12 mirrored instances or rotated instances will react the same way. So if I would want to have a proper gate into the building, you will initially have 12 gates because it's gonna be rotated, mirrored at the same time. And the same goes obviously for the entrance and exit of this river rapid, right, going into and outside of the dome. You'll see that in a real-time part later on. I'm gonna show you, but I think I'm gonna have to do a little tricky trick here to do that. Actually, for the future, I would love Frontier to bring in the option to just bake the object, just to say, you know, I'm done with the platform, I'm done with the mirror rotation kind of thingy, and I just want to bake the pieces, have all the pieces in place, and then you can take out individual pieces again. That would be lovely. This pool over here, again, is something that would be done in real life exactly this way. And since we have the option now to recolor water and also recolor the tiles and the ground of the pool, that was apparently the best way to do it. Again, I remember, and I will talk about that in the real-time part again, another YouTuber doing ZSH Plays, doing this with Liberty Lake. That was a very cool series, by the way, and he's been doing that with the initial pools and was struggling to get the look in simply because of the water not being able to make flexicolor. So he just used a couple of other tricks to make the ground look a bit more greenish, you know, murky-ish, and then that just kind of worked. But so yeah, anyways, back to the layout now and back to the style of this area. As said earlier, I was going to do something that is a bit more inspired by Alpine or like North American, Canadian, I don't know, something like that. Just making sure this kind of nature is kind of mimicked over here, I guess, and not so much the Mediterranean classic European Alpine thing we have done in the other series before, and just trying to do something else with it. I kind of love how that works, and when we go to the inside, I may actually go a little bit more alongside the Americas. Maybe I'm gonna do this. It's kind of funny though. We got the Americas DLC in Planet Zoo, and I'm gonna do the Americas in Planet Coaster 2. That's a tip. That's so much Rudi. That's so freaking Rudi. I can't even tell you. But yeah, so this was insanely fun to do. And again, I said that in the last episode of Hanseatic Dreamland. I will say it again. This game is starting to be a lot of fun, and I've found myself in the last couple of months playing a lot more other games because this game, Planet Coaster 2, didn't really pull me in as much as I've expected it to do it. And then Planet Zoo was kind of lacking a bit of novelty for me, and you know, having spent almost 3,000 hours into that game, or have I already? I don't even know. Let's just double check that real quick. Oh no, it's not. No, we are safe into the 2000s, so it's all good. It's all good. But like, it's still a great game, and I will continue doing a lot of stuff in Planet Zoo. But I have to admit that it's obviously, after such a long time, harder and harder to create content that you haven't done already before, and just finding something new is something very important for me personally. And so I gotta have to see how that continues. Then it will always continue, but the rate of it will maybe change. Yeah, last but not least, I did put a little bit of a tower in here, and again, you know, as I said, inspired maybe also by my urge to play The Long Dark again. I don't know. There are also, you have these towers or little sheds that you can get into, and I thought, you know, it would be fun to have like one of these kind of, yeah, would that be like a firefighter tower, or would that be just an overlook in the forest? I don't know, something along the lines like this. Maybe like a cargo storage tower. I have no idea. It just plopped in my head that I want to have a tower over here, and I put it in. And I find that super important, guys, to tell you. Sometimes I have a very loose inspiration. There are projects where I have like the mega inspiration. I know exactly what to do. Every design decision is very based in research and something that I have like a bigger plan. But sometimes, like this one over here, I have the crazy urge to build something because there's a picture in my mind, and the thumbnail and the scene you've seen at the beginning exactly is that picture in my mind that just plopped up. That was like, hey, you know, let's go for it. Why not? And then there doesn't need to be that bigger plan in your head. Just go for it and see where it leads you. And I love these things. I love when I have the time and the possibility to realize that, because more often than not, I have these ideas in situations where I don't have the chance to play just very short to that, or like close to that moment of inspiration. And then I note these things down, and this is why I also have a long list of a bajillion ideas, and like 99% of them will never be done, which is a shame. But yeah, the closer you are to free time with your ideas, the more realistic, at least for me, it is that they will be realized at some point. Gosh, I even have unfinished Planet Coaster 1 projects that no one has ever seen. It's damn ridiculous. But hey, that's the way it is. That's how life goes. That's how creativity works. And I don't even feel so bad about it. It's all good, you know. Maybe these projects that never been released have still had input or influence on other projects that have been released. So that's all good, you know. Yeah, fixing a couple of things here with the roof, but it's not going to be fully finished. Very tedious work I have to do there. So maybe next time I have a bit of time to put on a fancy little audiobook or something, I will be able to do it. But for now, I just did a couple of fixes here and there. And honestly, also some lazy fixes. At some point, I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna scale all these glass pieces down to make it look good. There's a better way of doing it. And so, yeah. Let's make the real-time part happen and go over. Right, so here we are in the real-time part, and today, as I said, the first time ever in wonderful WHQD, whatever, like 2K. It's not 4K, but it's 2K, and it's looking so good. The last update of Planet Coaster 2 is looking really, really damn good. Also in terms of lighting and just overall very crisp. And I don't know what exactly they did, but it's super good. So you've seen mostly the build. This building itself is very thick, like it's not like super nice and tidy and clean, but that is just like something I wanted to do to make it really feel steady and make it realistic that this technically would work in the shape it is. This middle pillar over here needs some work potentially, but like I'm very happy with it. This is, by the way, it's just like to take some photos. Anyways, let's go out of this one, and I still have to think about how to make these doors, because the problem is if I delete one piece out of here, then the whole thing is kind of not working anymore. I'm just gonna show you. So if I'm gonna remove this bit, everywhere over here will be always this bit removed, because I'm obviously in the platform. Again, I wish at some point we would have the chance to just bake it somehow, and but I will just make kind of a gate and just make it whatever, as like going through a black little gate. But then this is outside, and yeah, specifically the view I have also chosen for the thumbnail is something I'm incredibly proud of. I feel like this is one of the bestest things I've done in this game when it comes to its natural look. Like Splash Peak over here, the one I did last episode, already looks pretty fun, like with the rafts going through here and so on. I really, really do like it. Again, I think they even improved something about the lighting and the water again. Like, look at that. It actually looks better than last time when I recorded it. Again, I don't know what exactly they did, but something looks just better. However, just going from there, I tried a couple of new techniques in order to make the nature look a bit more nice. Use the pool over here. I mean, to be fair, Xena's Blade Stage. Oh my god. ZSH Plays, there you go. Sorry, I need to laugh because I messed it up so hard over here. He has obviously done this at the very beginning with this wonderful series he made to the launch of Planet Coaster 2. I'm still a big fan of that one, his Liberty Lake. It just kind of combines so many of the cool ideas to go beyond what a game offers you, and really love that. But like with the ability to like kind of recolor the pools right now, it's super cool. And one thing I wanted to do specifically over here is now the fact that we can recolor the pool. And we could now go and try to make the pool itself like a little bit more murky, I guess. And take out of this glowiness. And we could also make it even more murky, and then just go for the color that we think is nice, and just kind of make it the color we need. We can also make it brownish if we want to make it just more realistic, Just that is so freaking cool, and I really love that. And then you can adjust the strengths apparently, and work yourself in here. And so that looks just so much more realistic and better. I can't tell. It's just it was a bit of a bit of work to do that and just make it fit in here very nicely. And to be fair, there are a couple of little edges I need to improve. So once we are in here, just little things like this one over here. what need to be moved over. I mean, the good thing is you can just make that on the fly, like while there is the whole ride over here. I mean, I technically could move that even further, but since I'm using the terrain over here, I almost feel like I have to do, I mean, I'm not doing this in this video, by the way, but like I could go through here and just try to make this all look very tidy and neat. And apparently this is exactly what I want to do. Now, again, it's a bit of a finicky thing to do, but I feel like it's, you know, it definitely pays off if you do that. And then just everything embedded in here with that little tower, which I assume could also be a bit of a backstage kind of thing, where you maybe have some pumps or so in a basement over here, and this is the way to enter it. I don't know. I could imagine something like this, that this could also be underground, some pathways to get here. And yeah, there we have like the ride over here. Again, the improvement of also there is some lag over here in the corner because I used a bajillion stone pieces. This is one of the little payoffs or like caveats I have to go for, you know, but mostly it just works. And so it just needs to load once and then it's all fine. But yeah, to be fair, there are a lot of pieces, and I just love the fact how you can easily use the terrain brush and so on to create these areas, and also play with the terrain itself, even though I do admit that they could be sharper, these textures. I mean, it's okay, it's decent. I remember them to be worse, to be honest. Maybe this is also one of the things that looks better right now. Honestly, these textures look better now. I mean, still the rock looks a bit weird, but the rest looks fairly decent. So yeah, this is the outside area. We can also get rid of the hut over here. And I thought if we do the whole splashy thing, you know, realistically, the raft ride could also go be outside. And the next couple of things I want to do over here is just making sure that this is a very nice, like, indoor area. I have a couple of ideas I still want to realize, which I feel like this is a perfect environment to do that, and then just gonna release the whole thing into the workshop. I think that's gonna be fun for you guys to explore. So I'm not going to go awfully crazy. What I will do is like having a hotel kind of area over here, or like resort area I should say, and then we've got a whole bunch of pools across the area and maybe a couple of slides in the back here. Again, I have certain ideas what to do, so I'll explore that. And it's funny enough, these pools over here were just testing reasons, but I don't know, I think they sit in here very, very well. I may change them slightly, but overall, I like the idea having those pools here in the center. But maybe I will have to make like a bigger bar or a restaurant in the center, apparently. But yeah, so this is that. I really hope you guys enjoyed this little mini series, and I won't pressure myself to anything right now. You know, it's gonna be done when it's gonna be done. I feel like very excited for this little project, and again, also the outer shell isn't fully done, because these tedious edges over here I haven't done yet. I will potentially need to fill them in with the lovely new ability of art shape resizing down to 5%. So these will be the chosen ones, I guess, to make these insanely irregular angles I created myself here. I don't know, it's just so stupid. And then I will do something about the outside to make it not look so super clean, because at the moment it is fairly clean. Make a bit of a fake parking lot to the side, and I think that's all I want to do. The entrance will basically be relocated to here, just to have a bit more space in front, frankly. And then that's all, you know. It sounds less, but it's still a couple of episodes. So what am I even talking? Who am I even trying to impress? It's just my stupidity, always believing it's gonna be quicker than it actually is. But yeah, this view over here, it's just like, I don't know. This is exactly what I was talking about. Damn, it looks so cool. I love it. I freaking love it. I also love the fact when you can see the raft like splashing in here. Like, this is also a fairly cool view. If you're like here and then bam, it's just gonna come in here in a second. Come on, just do that. The next one needs to be there in a bit. Come on, your little raft. Is there one coming though? Not really. Hell, come on, quick. I wanna show people the little angle here, because that just looks so cool. Where you look like through here where the waterfalls are, and then now it's coming down and yay, there you go. How it just comes into the waterfall area. I love it. Yeah, besides that, this little trick over here to use the pools over the water is actually working fairly decent. I thought it was worse, but you can really get in with the color here and make the whole color look even better. And sure, you're lacking a little bit of the flow, but like if you make this, and as you can see over here, I use the rough water in the you know, in the overall thing, and just I think it looks good. I think it looks absolutely good, and I can totally live with that. So here we have a little boat going across that area. Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. I love it. I really hope that Frontier is still going to rework these things. Like, there is still a lot of stuff that needs to be done with the rafts. Like, starting with the non-existing physics, I guess, in these things. Like, they are still glued to everything. Like, they don't bump against anything. It's just like really they're in here. Like, I still don't get why we can't make this whole wide area wide, I guess. You know, if these rafts go through an area, technically they could go from left to right and have a bit more of a variable ride. That would be so cool, but they can't, and they just, again, like over here, this would realistically now go to this edge and then bump around the edge, and like this is how a raft would behave. And now the raft is just like almost following a rail, which is kind of it's kind of weird, but yeah, what shall I say? I'm just insanely happy with this build, and I really do hope you guys are too. And as of today, I want to say thank you guys so much for the support. Also, the first episode, the Splash Peak, is just like a very random success, and I'm really happy about this. Like, damn, you guys loved it. And I know there are not too many people doing Planet Coaster 2 content right now, so I'm aware that this game still needs a bit of love and a bit of, you know, maybe there needs to be a DLC or so to bring people back. I don't know, but like, I'm just very thankful you guys support this whole thing on the channel. So make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. There's going to be more stuff coming. There are so many other things I want to do. I can't talk about right now. I won't talk about right now. Again, it's all about expectation management at the moment. I just don't have that much time at hand. I would love to do more. I would love to do a lot of these projects I'm working in the background on, and you know, when the time is ready, things will be released. But make sure to subscribe to the channel, stay here with us, make sure to comment, make sure to share it with your friends if you think they could like it, all these kind of things. And now I wish you guys a wonderful day. Talk to you in the next one, and bye!